Today, we're going to talk about your basic financial education. One of the things that is missing, I believe, in the how to make money, how to budget your finances, how to understand your finances is a basic lack of a foundation. And let me give you an example. Let's say you have someone who comes on to Amazon FBA platform. And after a year, they're doing very well, but they technically are really good with the Amazon FBA stuff and they're making money. Then lifestyle creep comes into it. Then they have to make even more money to get more stuff because they don't have a basic financial education. Same thing with YouTubers who are doing really well. It's same because you ever notice that when you have people who are fish out of water, that they may have the money to do certain things, but they're not really familiar in the principle, foundation of certain things. And this is why people separate by class, because if you had horses growing up as a child, that's really no big deal to you. It's like, hey, I had two horses, I had a pony. But for someone who doesn't have those, that would indicate that your parents had a great deal of means. So this starts to create separation, anxiety, hate, jealousy, and all this other stuff. But to you, you're a kid with a pony. And to people who don't have that, they're going to like, you shouldn't have the right to complain about anything or any of those other stuff. And it's because of a lack of basic finance, because people don't understand money. They just really don't. So one of the things that I'm going to do is, let's see, hold on a second. I should be able to bring it up. We're going to have a new school and I'm going to talk about it. Make sure that I am finding it. I have to set up my studios. There's a lot that's coming this year. And oh yeah, okay. Let's go here. And present to everybody. All right. So the new training portal is money, income, and profit. Now, this kicks off tomorrow. The 5 checking account blueprint will be a free section of this. There'll be 2 sections that are free. It'll be the introduction to money and the 5 checking account blueprint. Also, we're going to get into some other things. Now, let's go ahead and talk to how we're going to do this. Hustlers Kung Fu Life Skills is a lot of information that's already set up. And because the way that it's set up, it's hard to add any more information. So I did a video when I was saying I was closing down Hustlers Kung Fu Life Skills. That really wasn't probably the best way to say it, because it still exists. All the courses are still there. And below, I am selling. Now, for those of you who are in Hustlers, Kung Fu, Life Skills, for those of you who are in H undergrad, all that information is still there. It's not going anywhere. Now, there's going to be 4 to 5 tiers into this new thing. And let me just come out here because I'm not logged in here because I'm on a different computer. All right. So here it is, and I'll just read it to you. Tier 1, basic financial education. Now, why would I want to do that? Remember those examples that I said earlier? There are many people who are making money who do not have a basic financial foundation. Like, how many of you are in the stock market and you're doing index funds I have a rule, and I don't really talk about this a lot because I would never buy a stock that doesn't pay a dividend. And there's a lot of people, most of the market doesn't do that. And typically because the companies pay a dividend, they only pay it out every quarter. It's usually a few cents, but we're going to have a special section where I'm going to tell you just how powerful that is and just some other stuff. Because with the 5 checking account blueprint, that's going to give you the firm financial footing that you need, because typically people get money, and because they don't manage money, they have a problem. They have a huge, huge problem. All right, so that section is going to be $100, and I'm going to give you 3 payments or 4 payments of 25. It's already set up. I'll go into that a little bit differently. Then the next tier, investing in yourself. This will be side hustles. Probably will be a short payment plan. And then the third tier, upgrade living, business, rich, getting rich in wealth. That's going to be $3.99 a month. Now, this is what everyone who got into undergrad, which is a monthly payment, you're going to go into upgraded living. Now, let's talk about this. I've had some folks who were asked for access. If you want to get in and you've only paid 1 payment, I have a question for you. Why would I give you continued, renewed access and energy for 1 payment? You go to McDonald's, you eat that hamburger. You go to Wendy's, you eat those fries. You go to Red Lobster, you get those cheddar biscuits. Next time you go back, you got to pay. So that's one of the things. And I did a video where I had stopped that because I've been a prince for so long. So if you want to be part of a month payment, fine. I'll make a discount for you guys and we'll get into that. And then we're going to get into the boss life. Now, the boss life is for people who already have businesses. You've been in business 2 years. Any of these things in tier 1, 2, and 3, they're not really going to apply to you because you've been there, you've done that. You got the t-shirt. This has been a big problem for a long time. I've got people who make multiple millions of dollars per year watching this channel. I had nothing to sell them. Nothing, because I've been focusing on the average man, the common man. And the average man and the common man, many of you have responded. So I really appreciate you. But there's a segment of y'all who want to have discussions because you want to feel that you know more than me, even though you have no results in your life to reflect that. So what we're going to do is get into a monthly coaching program, and it's going to be at $1,500 per month. And this will be more for your sales, your marketing, because like I said, if you have a business that makes 500,000 up to 5 million, and you've been in business 2 or 3 years, you've done a lot of things right. A lot of things, pure hustle. You set yourself up correctly. And typically when I talk to people who are in this arena, it always goes back to 3 things: sales, marketing, and hiring. Always. And part of hiring is management. And that's a big thing that is just not a strength of a lot of people. It's something that could become a strength, but you have to talk to someone who's actually done it. Biggest crew I ever had was 15 people for the upscale garage sale. Had to manage them, had to deal with certain things. So we'll talk about that, plus a lot more. And then for you guys who do what I do, this is going to be lifestyle living, the digital path to wealth. You want to be a YouTuber. Once again, this is not going to be cheap. And let's have a discussion. This channel has made millions of dollars in the last 10 years. Why would I give it away for free? Or why would I make that really cheap? So, what we're going to do is develop a coaching program to teach you YouTube marketing, email marketing, and video marketing. Video marketing is an animal unto itself. There's messaging, there's sequencing, there's how to sub video, there's thumbnails. There's so many things that go along with that. So that's going to be up there. I'll probably be $1,500 to $2,000 a month for 10 months. And I know you're like, whoa, dude, that's 24K. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because once you go through the program, you'll be able to make that and more for many years afterwards. One of the big problems is many folks don't know what a loss leader is, and a lot of online advertisers do it. They'll spend all of their money to acquire you, so they make no profit acquiring you. But when you make that second purchase and that third purchase and that fourth purchase, and that fifth purchase, that's where they make their money. So this is what we're going to do. All right. Now, how are we going to conduct these courses? Basic finance. I think it's 15, 16 modules because I spent yesterday setting it up. I'm going to do that this week. Hold on. Me getting here. This will be done this week. Then I'm going to do Invest in Yourself. That should be done next week or the third week. And then we're going to get into the Boss Life. That's going to be not the Boss Life, Upgraded Living. That's going to be a continuing education program. Now, what does that mean? Every month, I'm going to give new information. So every month you will have to pay. Once again, like the Cheddar Biscuits, like Domino's Pizza. If you call Domino's Pizza 5 times, you got to pay them 5 times and maybe 4. You may get a free pizza here and there. And that's where I'm going to get into the LLC stuff. Once again, if you are a paying member of H Undergrad, you get that. And I think that's it. So the plan, the plan is to get basic finances done this week. Next week, Invest in Yourself. And the third tier, Upgraded Living, is going to start adding people. Now, 2 weeks is not a long time to go. Now, what's going to happen is Upgraded Living is going to include basic finance and Invest in Yourself. Now, what do I mean by that? One of the big problems we had was logins, a lot of confusion. So whatever tier you're in, is going to have all your information there. So you only have one login. You're not going to have to go anywhere else. You're not going to have to log anything else. So when I do basic finance for free, I can duplicate that course. Well, basic finance, the 5 checking account part, that'll be free. I can duplicate that course, then add on to it. And then once I get Invest in Yourself done, I can duplicate that course. And then we get into Upgraded Living. So there's a lot of things that will be into this. And the name of the channel is going to change. Once I can change it. Matter of fact, let me see. I'll do that later to reflect the new path, because we're going to talk about income. We're going to talk about money, income, and profit. And I'm going to give you a very good analysis about what is money, because there are many people who get into the stock market and they'll talk you like, I'm up 50%. I'm up 70%. And in fact, they are up 50%. But the thing is, their portfolio was only $500. Now it's $2,000. We're going to talk about, let's see, upgraded living. There's some stuff that will be coming with that, how to get past that stage, because this is one of the things that I find to be intellectually dishonest. What is this? Financial independence, retire early. I see this all over the place. Let me give you my humble opinion of what retirement is. Retirement is you do absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And money comes in. That's retirement. If you got to be like when the 3 years that my book was doing really well, I did 1 or 2 videos per week on YouTube, maybe an hour. Let's say, wow, maybe 4 hours a week to keep this going. That's kind of crazy, but yeah, 4 hours a week, 20 hours a month, 240 hours a year. That's what it took to keep that. Well, it was just going. I probably could have got away with 1 video a week. I just like making videos. At that point, I was retired. And this is how the Craigslist protocols came. I put them on steroids because I know this is going to sound strange, but when you have time and money coming in and most of your circle doesn't, it's very lonely. I know many people are like, I don't care. Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. This is why many elderly people who are well heeled find something to do, because if they don't find something to do, they will perish and wither away. So this is how it's going to go. So for you guys who are part of H undergrad, you're going to be added the 3rd or 4th week. Like I said, you can sign up for the 5 check-in blueprint. That's free, so anyone can sign up for that. And just to not keep doing all this stuff, because it gets confusing. I get a lot of people. I'll give you an example. When I did H undergrad and I did the art of holding, for literally 3 months, I put out a code, email people, and many folks still didn't get it. And they were like, hey, I didn't know, get this, because they didn't open up their email. So then we get into this. Did they get the email? Did the email go into their spam folder? So with that, we're doing a new email list. So if you're on the old email list, I am not moving that old email list to the new thing. So you have to go below and get on the 5 checking account, because that's going to put you on the new email list. And you have to opt in. You're going to get an email from my system that's saying, hey, can this guy send you some emails? And if you don't answer that email or click onto it and respond and confirm, you will not get any emails. I had the same problem with the text notification list, and that will be coming back too. The text notification list will be coming back. So there's a lot of things that are, well, maybe, because once I figured out how I can get away with this, there's 2 ways to skin a cat, because this will be dealing with finance and money, and typically they don't want their systems used to notify people about credit and stuff. All right. But let's see. A lot of people watching football today. A lot of people are watching football. And this is something else too. And I think people are going to self-qualify, because whenever I put up some drama-loaded topic, I get double the response. When I talk about the things that you have to do to really make money, not a lot of people show up. It's been like that for years. I'm over it. Let's see what's going on, people. Happy New Year's to everybody. Ori, thanks for the $1. Yeah, because most people need to start with the basics. Even there are some millionaires who need to start with basics. Real management either grows a business or kills a business, pretty much. What's up, people? Short change. Yeah, that's going to be real interesting. Thank you, your money management and my hustle. I ain't worried about possible tax delays. On that note, your financial life should be set up that when you get that tax money, it should be able to go into an account and you can think about what you need to do with it. Typically, many people are in a situation where once that money comes in, they got to spend it because they got bills to pay, they got cars to fix or cars to buy. So they're in a state of perpetual lack. So when they get all this money, and for some people, they're getting significant returns back, 9, 15, 20K. That's a lot of money that you could do some other stuff if your basic financial education was in play. So thanks, Short Change. What's up? Well, once again, we'll have to talk about that because essentially you can't send text for porn, credit, and financial stuff, which I find to be ridiculous because Chase sends me text and they're a financial institution. So I think that was full of caca. Oh, thank you, Daniel. Chris Monroe, I don't know which is worse, cryptocurrency or the stock market. We will talk about that. One of the big things about cryptocurrency, and I believe in cryptocurrency, I don't believe that Bitcoin is going to be the dominant cryptocurrency going forward, is it's a long-term play. And the reason that people were buying it and it went crazy is because people thought they were going to get rich this year. And, they heard all about these Bitcoin millionaires, the Bitcoin Lambo. These were folks who got in really early and they practiced buy and hold. When I bought my Bitcoin, that's what, 80 cents? I held on to it for 8 years. Buy and hold. So if you bought some Bitcoin, like I said, I don't know. I really don't know what's going on with that one. But if you bought some cryptocurrency that was like 80 cents and you held on to it for 15 years, and then it gets up to $100, you won. And that's what a lot of them are going to do. But people are expecting these fantastic outside over the top gains, and it's just not coming. Thank you, Diana. Pretty much, Raul. I will not be doing velocity banking. I will not be doing any of these poor people schemes. And I say they're poor people schemes because they tell you this is what rich people do. We will not be discussing velocity banking. We will not be discussing becoming let me expand on that. Let's say you have a company and we'll talk about this a little in future videos inside money, income, and profit. But let's say you have two corporations and you have this one corporation that is killing it's making money. So you'll take some of that money and you'll put it over here in this another 5 checking accounts or 4 checking accounts, whatever it may be. And you just move that money over there. You don't need that money. And then we'll talk about the difference between saving and investing. Saving just to save is not the best thing to do. You should be saving for a purpose and then get your money to make money. But I'm not going to get into any of these esoteric banking practices of businesses. Now, I can tell you what's about to come. The big banks are already starting to become very cautious with their lending portfolios. So if you have credit cards and let's say you have 10 credit cards and 5 or 6 are maxed out, you can expect your credit limits to be crammed down. That's what they're going to do because they're going to see you as risky. And we're going to talk about debt-free lifestyle. We're going to talk about minimalism versus abundance living. There's going to be 1 or 2 new channels. I'm thinking about calling it the Abundant Man and then one, the Abundant Lifestyle. Very, very different stuff. Let's see. All right. Seahawks are done. This is funny. Let's get back here a little bit. All right. Living delightful freedom. I have Aweber and there's a way to turn off so they don't confirm. Yes, there is. But let me hit you something. I'll go way back. I used to literally put folks on my constant contact email list. My email rates open rates were like 70%, 80%. What is happening is, let's say you put someone on your email list, they haven't confirmed. Then they in turn don't open up. Let's say you send 10 emails and they only open up 2. That will lower your deliverability rate. Now, if they confirm every email you send them is going to go into their box because they said, hey, yeah, it's cool for me to send this email. So be very careful with that. We're going to talk about this. And I don't understand why it's even a question. Why would you have 5 different checking accounts at 5 different banks when you're going to be transferring money? I'm going to break this down in a 5 checking account blueprint so it'll forever be broken down. Thank you, Leslie, for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Silver New Jack, new to the channel, just got 20K bonus. I'm looking to invest in platinum. Um, you know, let's talk about investments. Only invest money in something you know and understand backwards and forward. So if you know platinum that well, go ahead. But if you don't know anything about platinum, never invest like, hey, you know, gold's a good place to put your money. If someone tells you that and you've not invested, gated it, and you've not done your own due diligence, don't do that. Oh, all kinds of stuff is happening, Diana. Guns, you know what? I went to a real estate seminar and they were talking about velocity banking. I found it strange. They have an ML structure. Let's talk about esoteric banking means that are told to you that this is what the rich people do. Let's go with buying stocks that pay a dividend. Let's see. Let's take Wells Fargo. Hold on. Hold on. I don't know why they're trying to get me to do this. Fargo stock price. Okay. Now, Wells Fargo pays a dividend of 38.39 every quarter. They've paid a dividend the last 4 quarters. Now, this is per share. Each share is $47.95. So to get like $1,500 a year per your stock, you would need to own 1,000 shares of their stock, which would be about 50K that you would have to park into Wells Fargo stock, right? So when you're talking about the games that rich people are playing, you got someone that's going to come in and buy $2 million worth of Wells Fargo stock. That's a whole different ball game. What do we know from looking at income? 99% of the people in this country do not have $2 million to park in the stock. And what they're going to do is put this money in the stock. Then they're going to have some loser stock and they're going to offset the gains from this stock and then only pay capital gains tax. See, you got to have big money to play these big games because with this, let's just go ahead and say it. High returns require high risk. So you want a 300, a 400, a 500, 1,000% return. You're looking at staggering risk. Now, the games that wealthy people play do not incorporate staggering risk. Let's say you're broke Dick Danny, and what you do is you dollar cost this stock per month, which means you're going to put in $200. You're going to get 4 shares of Wells Fargo per month. And then you're going to let it ride. And letting it ride is whatever dividends you get, you're going to take those dividends and buy more Wells Fargo stock. So in 10 years, let's say you have 1,500 shares of Wells Fargo, right? Let's see what that's going to pay. So 1,500 times 0.38 It's 570 times 4. All right, I did that wrong. So you've got not 50, you got 15,000. My bad. You got 15,000 shares of Wells Fargo stock over 10 years. Now, you have an asset that you can trade, play around with, times 0.38. That's 5,700 times 4. So that's $20,000 passive income that's coming in. And let's say while you were buying Wells Fargo, you bought some other banking stocks. Banking stocks usually pay dividends. You could have $50,000 a year coming in passively, just off 2 or 3 pieces of stock, three stocks. So we'll get into that because one of the reasons that so many people don't do well is they buy the hot stock, they buy the classy stock, they buy the stock, then they want to, let's say they buy the stock at $30, and it goes up to 150, then they sell it, and then that's where they get their money. Well, if you collectively buy stocks and never sell, and you only buy stocks that pay dividends, by the time you reach retirement age, you could be getting 100K, 200K a year in dividends. That's the game that rich people play. They do not play velocity banking and stuff. They don't do it. Why? Because they have the money to play the big boy games. So, we're going to get into that because, like I said, I used to buy stocks and play that game. And if I were to buy stocks again, I would not buy any stock that doesn't pay a dividend. If it doesn't pay a dividend, it's not a buy for me. It's more of a buy and hold type situation. Let's see. I'm not messing with ride share. What's up, Shabazz? Appreciate you, reigning woman. Gino, bleep. You may not remember me, but I used to watch your videos when I worked at the Walmart corporate office. Never applied one of the tips until this month. Man, I made $800 selling free curb alert junk in 2 weeks. The money's out there. The question is, are you willing to go get it? So congratulations, Gino. Levinsky page. Yes, the Hustlers Kung Fu. Let's talk about that. That site costs me a monthly fee to run. I have to pay every month. And if I'm going to leave it up, I have to get payments. So that's why I'm selling individual courses. But yes, it will go up because below the video, I'm selling the audio book, 30 days to 2,500. And since I just posted that last night, I've already made what I need to make to pay the monthly fee. So it looks like that's going to be feasible. Steve Jameson, big boy games had a banker talking to me about overnight sweep accounts. You can get return in so many other places. Once again, if you had 20 to 30 day liquid, I would agree with you. 90% of these people in the United States of America do not have $5,000 that's not part of their 401k. So once again, you need some money to play these games. And what we know, most folks don't have this nothing. Because see, let's not talk in the abstract, like, yeah, if you do X, Y, and Z, you can get more gains. Let's talk about, have you done that and gotten more gains? As I tell you, there seems to be a huge disconnect between theory and practical application. Dana, thanks. Shabazz, I purchased 2,000 a month of stocks. I own stocks in 42 companies. Sounds like you're in the index fund. Pretty much, Farrell. Yeah, there's a lot of bad stuff with real estate. Shabazz, are you day trading or you buying and hold? Because another thing that happens is like, you put out made $500 in 1 hour. Was that a buy and trade? Was that options? Because see, once we start getting into options, puts, margin, that's a whole different ball game. So each sense. Another thing about stocks is that when the company does an IPO, you have accredited investors that get first spoils and everyone else gets the second scraps. True. Mark Scott, most people don't execute the basics of budgeting, but want to buy a shortcut to financial freedom. And that is one of the reasons that we're going to get into basic financial education. I agree with you 100%. And that's one of the things because as long as you feel that you have enough time, as long as you feel that you can somehow buy a shortcut or hack your way to financial success, you're not going to put in the time, effort, and work that is required to be financially successful. Let's take this FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early. That's a little bit of a misnomer because they're actually working, but financial independence is the first step to getting wealthy. What is financial independence? You have a business or something that pays you money that you don't have to work a regular schedule. So it frees up your time. Then the second stage is to get rich. Because see, you could be financially independent and not be a millionaire. And I'm gonna break it down for you. Let's say your grandmother left you a house and then you bought a house and you bought three houses. You just have three houses and they're not even like $200,000 houses. They're just three regular houses in Nashville, not Nashville, but in Timbuktu or Kokomo, Indiana. So the houses are like 180, right? They're paid off. You get 1,500 bucks a month collectively, averaging up all the rents. That's 4,500 bucks per month, $50,000 per year minus 10%, which is five for taxes and stuff. You got a little capital gains taxes on that. So you're going to probably net out at $42,000. And you work a regular job. But because you have these rent properties, if you ever suffer a layoff, nothing goes unpaid because you got 4,500 bucks a month coming in. You're financially independent. You can have FU money. You can make more moves. The big problem is most people are so pressed that they can't let that job go. I started noticing about 3 years ago that people in Mercedes, these nice Infinities, BMWs, they were driving for Uber Eats, and Amazon Flex. If you're driving a $60,000 car and you work in Amazon Flex, I don't think it's because you chose to. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. So, for those of you who got here late, just rewatch the video. That's all you got to do. All right. So, I'm going to cut it short because I don't want this to be too long because we're already at like 40 minutes. And there'll be some more videos tomorrow, but all the links to the courses of Hustlers Kung Fu Life Skills. I'm not adding anything else to that. So everything's there, still there. And so if you bought something, you still have access to it. And I'm selling things to pay the monthly maintenance fee. Once again, once I start adding people from Hustler Undergrad to the tier, which should be by the end of the month, because that's going to be the tier that I'm going to be constantly updating. The tier 1, tier 2 probably be a fixed price, and tier 3 will be constantly updated. Tier 5 constantly, so once again, I will do another video where I'm logged in, because there's really nothing there yet. Tomorrow the 5 checking accounts will be there, and like I said, it's my intention to get that done next week. All right. So with that, I'll see you guys next video. Links are below, and if you want the 5 checking account notification, get on that email list, and I will talk to you guys later.